Welcome to Trippy Commentaries. I'm RJ here with Corey live from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yo, what's up, guys?
We just witnessed Floyd Mayweather Jr. defeat Marcos Maidana in a majority decision in 12 rounds, of course. He remains undefeated and pound for pound the best boxer. Let's recap the fight and talk all about it. Corey, you
Yes,
witnessed it. It was probably the best fight of the year so far. What can you tell us about
definitely.
what happened?
Um, you know, um, Before we get into the fight, I would be remiss without mentioning the fact that last night we saw, after a stirring rendition of both the American and Mexican national anthems, or that may have been Argentine. I'm not sure. Um, I could be mistaken. Um, we saw Floyd Mayweather Jr. enter first. He was preceded by a parade of clowns. And then, flanking Floyd Mayweather Jr. on either side of him was Lil Wayne, who was rapping, and Justin Bieber.
Wow.
What the hell? What the
Clowns,
hell?
Lil Wayne, and Justin Bieber. Wow.
Clowns, Lil Wayne, rapping, and Justin effing Bieber. That was amazing. Yeah, that was, Floyd Mayweather definitely knows how to put on a show and make a spectacle of a fight and of himself. It goes without saying that Floyd Mayweather is the biggest attraction in boxing right now.
Yes.
As you mentioned, it went 12 rounds. It did go the distance. We saw in Maidana someone who came out and brawled throughout the fight. You know, he was less defensive and apprehensive, perhaps, than a lot of Mayweather's opponents have previously been. You know, Maidana came out, he backed up Floyd early on. Floyd stuck to his game plan. He just boxed him. Whereas Maidana was kind of looking more to brawl. We saw that go to a majority decision. The judges scored it. One judge scored it 114-114, a draw, which was, I wouldn't say quite accurate, but the other two judges, we saw 117-111 Mayweather, which I think was a little bit lopsided. Um, I would have given Floyd one or two less rounds than that. And the third judge scored at 116-112 Mayweather, which is a little bit more realistic in my eyes.
Okay, so in your opinion, you feel like this was a good decision? He should have won via majority?
I think it would. Yeah, it should have been. Honestly, I feel it should have been unanimous.
Okay.
Um, the draw was fair in some ways because, as I mentioned, Maidana really pursued Floyd Mayweather and forced Mayweather to box and to be on his game more than just about any opponent I can remember in quite a long time. We actually saw Mayweather get cut by a stray headbutt in the fifth round, and that's, from what I understand, the first time in his pro career he's been cut. He took it in stride, and Floyd basically just boxed. Maidana came out there. He clinched a lot. There were quite a few illegal blows thrown in the fight.
Really?
And as I said, yeah, oh yeah, there was definitely some dirty boxing going on in there.
Something we're
On the
seeing way too
inside.
much in boxing nowadays, I have to say.
Yeah, but to Mayweather's credit, as I said, he boxed his way to victory in this fight. Definite credit to Tony Weeks, the referee. He was really involved in the fight, and normally, I don't like to see that, a lot of breaks and everything, but it was always good, clean breaks. He was in there making sure that that the action stayed good and clean, and everything was good to go. Um, we can take a look at the total punch stats for the fight, which to me is really telling. We saw Floyd Mayweather land 230 of 426 punches, which is a 53% percentage. We saw Maidana, alternatively, throw 221 for 858, which is a roughly 25% percentage. So, that's really it's almost the tale of two fights. Mayweather was conservative, and when he punched, he landed. Maidana was swinging for the fences and giving it everything he had.
Yeah, that certainly was the difference. It seems Mayweather was just on point as usual, and he took it. And now, looking forward, because I gotta say, and I do want to point out that I actually was not able to see the fight myself. Unfortunately, I had plans, with a friend. I guess she had a going away party, so we were supposed to be at a club that we assumed would be showing it, but they didn't have it. So we drove over to a local wing house, and the place was just completely packed to the point of not even worth it to go. It was SRO, and we would have been way in the back. So we decided to drive down to the local downtown area towards the club, and I got to tell you, there was just no place in the entire city showing this fight. So I was pretty mad. A big disappointment to me. It's very rare that we get to see Money Mayweather fight, and I'm just a huge fan of him. I love watching his fights, and of course this one turned out to be one of the best ones probably ever here. I mean, what a fight. We kind of watched it on our phones, and we saw, as far as all the stats round by round, what was going on. So fortunately, I did not get to see it. I will watch the replay for sure. But I gotta say, from my angle, Corey, it really seemed like Maidana was doing a pretty good job, and I was really worried that Mayweather was going to lose. I was actually definitely getting scared there for a little bit.
Yeah, this was the year, of course, as we covered in an earlier video for WrestleMania 30, that we saw one great streak end. But, last night we did not see another end. Floyd Mayweather, if my memory serves me, has improved to 46-0 as a professional boxer, which is just absolutely amazing. That's up there with, the all-time greats, Rocky Marciano, to name one specifically.
Oh, yeah.
Going forward, I see a really, really exciting welterweight class.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Mayweather, and one more thing to touch on about last night's fight with Maidana. He is still a contender even with this loss, and if anything, I think he would be even more determined to get that rematch because he went the distance.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me to see a rematch of this fight somewhere, possibly down the road. Floyd looked great. Personally, as I said in the scoring, I probably would have given him less rounds. I feel that Maidana coming out and really taking the fight to Floyd right off the bat, I felt that said a lot. And, as I said, I would have given maybe another round or two to him here and there. But, as we covered, the punch stats, man, that's really the tale of two fights there. Mayweather boxed and Maidana brawled. We could see Maidana rebound for another rematch, possibly against Mayweather. But we would be remiss without saying in the welterweight class, we've got guys like Broner, we got Diaz, Amir Khan. Who else? We got Porter. We got our boy Thurman, Pacquiao, possibly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now that we have Mayweather still undefeated, thank goodness. We really need to see boxing take the next level before it's too late when it comes to Mayweather in the welterweight division. Like you mentioned, I mean, 46-0 is great, but that's a lot of fights here. How much longer is Mayweather going to go at this? We all know he doesn't want to lose. He's going to want to retire undefeated. That goes without being said. And there's a lot of young guns and just guys that probably are capable of taking him out. Now that we've seen him go 12 rounds, I think we all know that he can lose. So let's talk about some of these guys here that we definitely want to see Mayweather challenge. We have Manny Pacquiao. I think we all know what's going on there. It doesn't look like that's ever going to happen. And at this point, I don't even want to see it. I'm done with that. Tim Bradley, that of course would be an amazing fight. Tim Bradley is a hell of a fighter himself, and that's one that is probably pretty realistic. Juan Manuel Marquez there, or Marquez, very, very good fighter. We all know about him, and man, that would be probably a good fight. Not necessarily the fight we want to see because Marquez has been around for a while, but that is certainly something that could happen here. I mean, we've seen Marquez versus Pacquiao. That was one of the the most memorable fights here. Sean Porter, another big time up and comer here. This guy is a huge contender, as well as the two gentlemen behind him, Kell Brook, who is undefeated as well, and Keith Thurman, also undefeated. Now, Keith Thurman is a guy we're huge supporters of. And we definitely want to see either Kell Brook, Sean Porter, or Keith Thurman get a chance against Floyd Mayweather. What are you looking at, C-Dub?
Well, right now I'm looking at, I'm actually here in Las Vegas. I just had a train pass by me here. Pardon that noise. Last night on the undercard, we saw Amir Khan take on Luis Colazzo. And he won that by unanimous decision after 12 rounds. That could be a possible contender for Floyd Mayweather. We also saw, as I mentioned, Adrian Broner. He defeated Carlos Molina by unanimous decision after 10 rounds.
Yeah.
Could also be a potential opponent we could see somewhere down the road.
Absolutely.
But, as you mentioned, we've got our local hometown boy, Keith Thurman. For me, personally, that would be the biggest fight that I could see, is seeing him get a crack at Floyd Mayweather. Somebody that's young, up and coming, somebody who is also undefeated, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be a hell of a fight. I think it would be a hell of a boxing match, is what it would be. I think it would be one of those all-time classics. We could see like Tommy Hearns versus Marvin Hagler. One of those great action-packed fights. But no matter what, we know that Mayweather now, he's, as we've touched on, sort of coming to the end of his rope here. So it'll definitely be interesting to keep an eye on that and see who Mayweather ends up fighting in his next couple fights as he goes on the road to perhaps 50-0.
Yep. Now, one thing I do want to bring up, as we talked about the young guns there, it would be nice to see these guys face one another, Porter, Brook, Thurman, and really, the guy who remains undefeated out of those three should have that chance at Mayweather, hopefully, maybe in 2015. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll hear about who Mayweather will fight next, pretty soon. Now that this one's done, he still has, I think 2 more deals left on that or 2 more fights left on that big deal. So we'll see what happens there, and hopefully our boy Keith Thurman can get a shot here. He's young. He's only 23-0, but 23 of those out of 23 victories, 21 of those are knockouts. He's the knockout artist, and you look at guy Kell Brook as well. Very, very impressive, and I think a lot of people want to see Kell Brook get a shot as well. Corey, one last thing I want to ask you about Floyd Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Would you want to see that, or would you just prefer to see him against one of these other guys?
Man, at this point, Mayweather is 37 years old. Pacquiao's 35. A couple of years ago, I mean, it would have been a huge, huge money attraction. And honestly, there's a good chance that it still is. But as I mentioned, I mean, there's really not as much of a mystique around the matchup anymore to me. I would rather see something like Mayweather-Bradley or even Pacquiao, Pacquiao-Bradley, Pacquiao-Porter, Pacquiao or Mayweather-Porter, Thurman-Pacquiao, Thurman-Mayweather, get one of these young cats that's in here, Amir Khan. There's a ton of good fighters that are young that are in here and in this welterweight class that definitely deserve a shot. Right now, BoxRec.com, which is my favorite resource, for boxing information. Right now, they have it just like almost everybody does. Floyd Mayweather 1, Manny Pacquiao 2 for the world welterweight rankings.
Yeah.
And then 3, we got Juan Manuel Marquez. Number 4, we got Maidana. Number 5, Timothy Bradley. 6, Sean Porter. 7, Kell Brook. Number 8, Keith Thurman, our local Clearwater boy. Our Trippy Com's favorite. Number 9, we've got Devin Alexander. And then number 10, we've got Amir Khan. Yeah. So that's, as I said, that's, to me, it's the best rankings that I go off of, BoxRec.com. There's your top 10. A lot of those fighters in that have no losses. We see Sean Porter, who is undefeated, Kell Brook, undefeated, Keith Thurman, undefeated, Floyd Mayweather, undefeated, Timothy Bradley only has 1 loss. Sean Porter, he had 1 draw, but other than that, undefeated. It's definitely, over the last couple of years, we've seen a real resurgence in the welterweight class. A lot of people have turned away from boxing because of MMA in some ways, because MMA, it's produced guys like Brock Lesnar and Randy Couture and Frank Mir and all the great heavyweights in recent years, which, heavyweights are always going to be the main attraction, it seems, to the general public.
Sure.
But we have a definitely exciting welterweight class right now in boxing. It's been pretty much the most exciting class in boxing for a few years. And I'm sure in the upcoming future, we here at Trippy Comms are going to keep our eyes on it, cover it as much as we can. And hopefully we're going to be covering the rise of Keith Thurman, as we talked about, and maybe see what happens with Mayweather-Pacquiao. There has been some rumblings out of Pacquiao's camp that, he still wants the fight and this and that. But at this point, I think it's until the ink is dry on the contract, it's all just hot air.
Yeah, I'm sure he's saying that in the public, but I don't buy it. But I think we can say, as Mayweather nears 50-0, this is going to be an extremely exciting time for boxing and the welterweight division. Really, the welterweight division is what we have to rally around as boxing fans. I'm a Klitschko fan. I love that. I love the heavyweight battles as well. But when it comes to the welterweight division, there's just so much excitement right now. Mayweather is just the best thing going. Love this guy to death, and I'm so happy he won. But as much as I love him, I really like these young guns. And to see these fights, boxing is such a great sport. You don't have a boxing match of the highest caliber every weekend. It's very rare. So when we get these Clash of the Titans, when we can finally see a Kell Brook face off with a Sean Porter, matches of that level, then it's really as good as it gets. And I'm extremely excited. We have some great matches upcoming in this welterweight division. Corey, I'm sure I speak for you as well. I'm just so excited to see what we have in store for this year, and of course in 2015, when you'll probably see a lot of these huge matches come to fruition. But thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate you. Hopefully you enjoyed the match last night. Corey, you're in Sin City. What are you going to do today?
I definitely have quite the hangover. here in Las Vegas, and I'm probably going to hang out here in the hotel room with this tiger.
All right. Well, I recommend go on over to the local Hooters there. Pretty good place to hit the sports book at, and maybe grab some wings and just relax today because remember, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So if you manage to hook up with one of those Hooters girls, you don't have to tell anybody.
Yes.
Thank you guys again for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode of our boxing coverage. If you're wrestling fans, we got you covered there as well, and all kinds of other stuff. Make sure to drop your comment about what you thought about the big fight, and we'll see you in the next episode.